Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about BB23 and this mess of a first HOH.
We so messy. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And if you're looking to support us on Patreon, which why wouldn't you be?
Why?
There's a link in the description, so check that out.
Yes, we have a very fun Discord group. You can join us over there if you want. And don't forget to check out the merch.
The merch, people.
The merch.
The merch. I saw it on Twitter, and then I heard that it's excellent merch from people who bought it.
Yay!
Yeah, so.
We love it, and we love you guys for being here with us and supporting. And oh my gosh, this house.
Okay.
This group.
Specifically this HOH.
Oh, you're
Frenchie.
Hello. Frenchie just dove right in for us. He was like, look, I've been watching this show long enough.
Yeah.
Let me just mess it up from the start.
I'm going to try to give you a month's worth of Big Brother in 1 week.
Yeah. Yeah, that is exactly what happened. So on our Monday night streams here, we will recap Sunday night's episode, and then we will get into all the spoilers from the weekend, including obviously veto. Veto ceremony happens on Monday. So we will have all of that for you starting right now.
Yes.
How was the Sunday episode?
I enjoyed it.
It was not bad.
It was not bad. They're sort of starting it with that moment that we were talking about last time where they're like actually exploring the house and commenting on how cool it is. And really, this is like what I felt like I was missing from that premiere episode. Again, it was such a fun premiere, but you didn't see everybody interacting so much. So now we're actually seeing people chat. We're seeing Sarah Beth lie about being a voice actress and, seeing how she's kind of worked that out. She had a good story.
Pretty decent lie. She does some indie video games. I was like, there you go.
Because you don't want to say you did some video game everybody's heard of.
Unless you know it very, very well.
Right.
And can name all the characters or something.
Yeah.
Those things. I mean, it's kind of like when I'm like, I'm an actor, and they're like, what have you been in? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Nothing you know.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's kind of like that. She's like, just some things. I put people to sleep.
Yes.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Right.
I like it.
It's very topical.
I was really disappointed here at the top of this episode to hear Azah tell us, because remember in the premiere, she was like, I'm here to get the first HOH out. Like, I'm coming for you. And then she's like, oh, he's on my team. So scratch that. And I was like, no, don't scratch that.
I know. Yeah, we like that. We like that strategy.
Yeah, I still want you.
But, I'm not sure how much these teams are really going to work out or matter. Like, it seems like from what we've seen, like, I don't want to spoil anything. We'll get into the spoilers later.
Spoilers are later.
From the way that people are working, it seems like they're trying to form alliances outside of these teams. Like, I feel like the producers are kind of hoping for these like 4 alliances of 4 that would be really tight. And I don't know if it's actually going to go that way. So roundabout way of saying, we might actually see Azah go after Frenchie at some point, even though he's on her team.
Maybe. I'm definitely keeping an eye on like who is over this HOH and who might go after him.
Right.
But it is interesting because we don't think of Big Brother as like a team sport. Like you put this team twist in and you're like, okay, interesting. How is that going to affect the game?
Yeah.
But there are just like a couple people like Brent. Brent is a team sport player and he doesn't know the show. He's a recruit.
Yeah.
And so he is like living and dying by his team.
Sure. Right.
And, mad that his team might talk to people outside of the team like that. But like most people are like, sure, team, but I'm going to build my alliances like normal.
These teams aren't going to last forever. So.
Oh, sorry, Seth. I meant to do this one. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Thank you.
What are we going to sing?
Which one do you want to do? You sing and I'll join.
Oh, can we do the one I just said right before?
Okay. Thank you for the super chat, for giving it to me.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are going to get better.
We're working on it. We've
Yeah.
got a spreadsheet. We might put some energy behind it. But nonetheless, the best part of the year is when Big Brother is back. That's right. Sarah and David give us amazing, high quality content. Thank you.
And Mr. Broadway Dork, he's been with us for a long time.
A long time you have.
We're glad you're still here.
That's right. Haven't shooed you away yet.
Yeah, right.
Thank goodness.
I did enjoy, though, seeing them in the circle in the living room, doing that introduction moment, getting to know each other. And then we're starting to see things like Xavier's into Alyssa, right? Like the producers want to plant those showman seeds. Alyssa's a hottie. And then we're seeing Frenchie's not into meatheads. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's referring to Travis, a Brent, a Xavier, a Christian. But we also see that on night one, I liked this little tidbit that we didn't see in the premiere, but when they get up to the balcony, he's promising Xavier and Travis safety. So I'm like, wow, you just really were just messing it up from the beginning.
From the beginning, he came in with no meatheads. I will never put a woman up or a person of color. He came in with these things. He made promises. We'll get more into it right now. We see quickly that we see the have not room, which I love. Yeah. It's insane. I love it. It should be insane. But yeah, Frenchie wants a meathead gone. He's telling us from the get-go. Brent and Christian, he has his eye on them.
Yes.
And we also see him make this final two with Derek.
Right.
Derek F.
Yep, that was like a quick little moment, but they're like,
that was something that we missed because this was before the feed started. So that was interesting to see. And then he starts to do his rounds of promising safety. First off, women. Yeah, who is,
I think it's Hannah, Azza, and Claire that he's in a room with when he says like, I'm not going to put any women up. And then we see him tell Alyssa directly that she is safe. She has nothing to worry about. Just anybody who wants to hear that they're safe, he's going to tell them.
Basically. He was like, not a problem. You're safe. Don't you even worry about it. We specifically get the clip of him promising Alyssa. And that's real important because he's going to go back on that real quickly here.
But then also, you know, Brent is supposedly one of his targets because he's one of two meatheads that Frenchie hasn't promised safety to. And then he has this apparently amazing conversation with Brent where they both bond over losses that they've had in life. They're ending with a hug. And like, I think it was a point that you made where I think it was when I tuned into your live feed updates.
Oh, thank you for watching, David.
Yes. I was happy to see it. And I was asking like, what's going on? And you made the point of like, it's that thing where you think you don't like the meatheads. And then as soon as they put on, like they're accepting you and they want to work with you and be your friend, you just kind of melt. And you're like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted.
You know the saying of like, what is it? Thou protest too much, doth protest too much.
Yes, you doth.
He doth. And it sometimes stems from a deep desire for whatever that thing
for acceptance.
Is. And you just protest because you haven't been accepted into the group. And I think that's what we saw here. He was anti-meathead, which who uses the term meathead? This is not a term I use.
Right. I'm only using it because Frenchie kept using it.
I'm all of a sudden saying it, but like he means like the alpha male bro jock type.
Yeah.
He obviously deep down just wanted to be besties with them. And this was the first time that they were accepting him. So, but I did talk about in one of my live feed updates this moment because Brent really did handle it well.
Yeah.
And I don't think he realized he was in trouble. Maybe he did, but he's a pretty confident person. I've only heard him say he's so safe and in a great position. So I don't think he realized he was in trouble, but he did know to appeal to Frenchie's emotional side.
Yeah.
And all he did was walk in and say, I wanted to give you space. You're having an emotional moment looking at your family photos. But now I would like to share with you this story about his dad's suicide, what, you know, that is difficult for him and what that having that letter meant. And that was all Frenchie needed.
That's it.
He was like, Brent, you're going to be my best friend for life.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
No, we're in this together.
Be my ride or die.
Yeah. So Brent won Frenchie over real quick. And like, no shade to Brent there. Like, I think that's great.
He did exactly what he needed to do.
You're doing a good job. Like, you want to connect with people emotionally and make them feel like they shouldn't, for whatever reason, put you in the block. Like, this has really nothing to do with game, the whole dad situation, but it's that emotional connection that makes people want to keep you off the block, you know?
Right.
So Brent did a great job there, whether it was strategic or not, but I'm just kind of laughing at like, Frenchie cannot stick to a plan.
No,
you know,
he cannot.
As soon as someone comes into the room and talks to him, everything changes.
It is a theme. Diana, thank you. This, I'm doing a lot of work on the studio. It's going to probably change almost every day that you see me.
Love that.
But thank you for the flowers.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Okay, but now this wild card comp.
Right.
I enjoyed this.
I did too, yeah. So apparently every week there's going to be a new wild card competition.
I don't know if it's just these first, I mean, they
Maybe
said
it's
every week, but yeah, it might just be the 4 weeks of teams. We'll see about that.
Right.
But I mean, you know, these extra comps are sometimes like, what is this? What is this? But I enjoyed this. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So Frenchie sort of explains that one member of each team is going to compete and they're going to win safety, but not for the whole team. So the teams have to go off and strategize, like, who do we want to nominate to play? And there is the option of leaving it up to fate if they don't want to decide as a team.
Isn't that interesting?
The only one that we really saw come out strong was Christian's team, where Sarah Beth was like, you got to play Christian. Like, you're in danger. So
yeah, well, Sarah Beth and Alyssa both have the information of like, we've been promised safety.
Yeah.
He said it to us. So we feel fine, but we have maybe heard your name.
Yeah.
And Christian's like, oh crap. Well, then I'm going to play. But yeah, that's the only one we hear. Other ones we're hearing decided like, I don't want to play.
Because a lot of people are deflecting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's because once you play once, you don't get to play again. So it is kind of smart. Like if you're just not sure this week, save it for a week that you might be in danger.
Yeah.
Understandable. And then the aces, like they can't decide.
Yeah.
And they're like, fate.
Yeah. So it's Christian who definitely is playing for the Kings. And is it Kyland that they end up picking for the Queens? Yeah.
Yeah. Kyland is like, okay, sure. For the Queens. And then the aces end up just choosing Hannah by this fate, whatever.
Right.
Very interesting. And I love, you know, later after someone wins, the wheel to spin for how many people get safety. That's great.
Yes. And I'm sure Frenchie was like, oh my God, like potentially a whole other team is now going to be safe from nomination. Like I'm just watching my options dwindle every moment.
I love the possibility of an entire team being safe. Or just one. Like that wheel was tension for me.
I know. I do think that the shot of the ticker, like almost to the 3, I don't think that happened because there wasn't a big enough reaction from everybody in the house of like, oh, it's almost like they would have been freaking out if it were that close to 3, but they were just like, oh, 1, that's good. You got a 1.
I thought it was a disappointment. They were like, oh, 1, maybe. But yeah, maybe was it an insert shot?
I would think it was an insert shot. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, this comp is called Do Not Disturb. They're in like a trashed hotel room is what they're calling it.
Party house kind of vibe, yeah.
It was kind of fun that they were getting penalized points by noise. And at first I was like, I don't understand how you're doing this. But then watching them just like step on crunchy things, triggering that noisy frog. Like this was great.
Yeah, knocking over the cans inside the door. I was like, Kyland didn't see it coming on the second door, but like Christian definitely did. He was like, you're not going to get me twice on these doors. But Kyland wasn't thinking so much about that apparently.
Right. Well, I'll just bust open all the doors. Yeah. I mean, the glasses, the keys in the sink. Oh, I was like, yes, this is torture. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Christian had a decent strategy of like, I cannot go into a time penalty. That's what's really going to add up.
And that's what added up.
Seriously.
Yeah. I did love that they all slammed the door on the way out. And you always saw that like plus 20 as they slam the door on the way out because they're thinking it's over. But I love that it's still going.
And you're like, nope, why don't you make that real quiet?
Yeah.
But no, they didn't. So yeah, Christian's score is like a gazillion times better.
Yeah, because all of their noise penalties are roughly the same. I think there's like a 20-point, maybe 40-point spread in terms of the noise scores, but then it's that time penalty. Both Hannah and Kylan get a time penalty. Christian just wins very easily. And I'll say it again. I said it after the premiere and I'll say it again. If he keeps being such a whiz at these comps, he's not going to be painting any kind of target off of his back, you know?
Right. But he's not in a place to not
you're right.
do that.
He's in danger.
He is not making a ton of friends.
Mm-hmm. So I think Frenchie's like, well, great. There goes that. Like another meathead that I can't put on the block here. And then spins the wheel and gets a 1.
Mm-hmm.
And remind me who he saved?
He saved Xavier. And when I first saw this on the feeds, it did not add up or make sense. But now that I know it was just out of his team and the girls had expressed they were safe, then it makes complete sense to save the other dude on your team.
Right.
He doesn't know where Xavier falls with Frenchie. So that makes sense. So Christian and Xavier are no longer up for nominations. They are safe. And yes, this is unfortunate for Frenchie, who wanted to target Christian at this time. But guess what? There are other meatheads on the list here. You got a Travis. And
a Brent.
And actually, well, I'm assuming because he already told Brent he's safe.
Yeah, but he also already told Travis that he's safe on night 1.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, Frenchie, stop promising everyone safety because then you run out of options, you know?
In real life, he's mad at Derek X at this point in time. And Derek X was the target.
Right.
So no big deal. Derek X is going to go up. And you could put Travis next to him or Brent. Whoever.
Yeah.
But does he do that? No. He does not do anything he told us he was going to do.
Truly. He looks shook, though. When the whole, like, wheel and now Christian and Xavier are both safe, like, Frenchie's on the couch in the living room, kind of like, what am I going to do? What's happening? And then we get this great package of him just pacing around the house. Like normally the HOH is up in their palace in the HOH room. People are coming to them to talk. They're feeling comfortable. And Frenchie is like stalking the house, eavesdropping on people because he's so paranoid and unsure what his plan is going to be.
He's unhinged. Yeah. He is spiraling already. We are like a day into this process. Yeah. And he is already losing it. I loved these quotes. Travis says he's on a self-inflicted hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Yes, this is 100% self-inflicted. You are correct. And he is already on that hamster wheel. I loved when Tiffany caught him easdropping.
Yeah.
And she
almost ran into him.
She ran to that door as soon as she saw his shadow and like threw that door open on him.
Yeah.
But he took the time to peek in and he like just kept spiraling on like who's coming after him.
Yeah.
And like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Lots of little moments for him to lose his mind.
Yeah. And then we also see him once he kind of like finally settles in the HOH room and is inviting people up to talk. Then he's trying to put out feelers for who's in an alliance. And I don't know why he thinks this is going to be like a successful thing. Like,
why does he do half the things he does?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he's got a group of like 8 people.
Uncomfortable. Yeah.
And saying like, listen, you know, I don't want to be weird, but
you're weird.
Have any of you been offered alliances? And what they show us in the show is that Alyssa sort of immediately, according to the edit, is like, no, I have not. And that's really all Frenchie needs, because then he's like, she's a liar. She's my target now. Even though I already promised her safety and kind of promised a lot of people that I wouldn't put a woman
He's promised just about everyone's safety. He's promised general blankets of no women.
Yeah.
Like he has just like put himself in a hole here. And in real life, they went down the like every single, okay, Alyssa, great. Sarah Beth,
yeah. Right.
And yeah, like it was so awkward and uncomfortable. And everyone's like, no, I would never be in an alliance.
Of course. Like, no. Of course you're going to say that. Yeah.
What? Why are you grilling me like this? But in real life, and I did talk about this on my live feed update, he sat in a room with Travis, Brent, and Xavier. Xavier kept his mouth shut for the most part, but he literally got his noms from Travis and Brent. 2 people that you would think he's not really working with.
You would think he's targeting.
And those are the ones that he spoke with right before the nominations went down. And we come back to Kyland and Alyssa.
Kyland and Alyssa, two people of color and one woman, where he made this whole big deal early on that you know, in Big Brother, it's always a person of color or a woman who goes first, and that's not going to be this season, and this is what we end up with.
Very interesting. Yeah, they're really in the edit, really trying to sell us on this, like Alyssa might be in a showmance with Christian thing, and he can't get Christian out, so she's the next best thing. But we all know that like this was just created in his head.
He's looking for whatever justification he can find. But I am so sick of this reality show narrative of like, I want to get the guy out, but I can't. And so I'm going to get the girl that he's not even in a showmance with.
No.
They were flirting in the kitchen for like 5 minutes, and Alyssa wasn't particularly responsive to it. But because Christian's showing interest in Alyssa, now we're going to get her. It really has nothing to do with her being a threat as a gamer. It's everything to do with, I need to hurt Christian. And I hate that.
Yeah, we do see that quite a bit where the woman just like becomes the target for just the silliest little reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gross. And the speech from Frenchie is like, I had a dream.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I want to catch a big fish, so I got to put out the right bait.
And Alyssa's like, am I the fish? Like, he doesn't really connect the dots in the analogy. Yeah. He also turns to Kyland and specifically says to Kyland, I'm putting you on the block. I'm paraphrasing, but because I need someone strong playing the veto. The implication, I think, being I want to make sure that Alyssa is not going to win this, and you're going to help me do that, Kyland. So more or less like you're a pawn so that Alyssa doesn't win the veto. So then I think that throws Alyssa even more for a loop where she's like, what? Since when did I become this massive threat?
Right.
That, what?
What? Exactly what?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really weird and awkward. In general, this edit was fairly generous to how Frenchie actually like spiraled these couple of days, but you get the point. They showed him saying things and then he went against them. Like basically that's it. Yeah. So let's get into spoilers, David.
Let's do it. Spoilers.
We did it together.
Good to do that. And not have to do like a countdown from my living room across a weird internet connection. We're back.
We're back, guys. We are back. So let's start though right here. After these noms happened, Kyland and Alyssa both are like, I'm sorry, what happened, Frenchie? And Frenchie like gave Kyland like, dude, I think that you're gonna get some reward from Veto. So I wanted you to get the reward.
Well,
okay, who's like, buying this?
Wait a minute. I'm trying to run the numbers here. And that's not adding up.
I'm on the block. What? How does that work? And then Alyssa's like, what? And he's like, you're in a showmance with Christian. And she's like, you know, we're on the same team, right? And he's like, you are in an alliance. And she was like, you're naming just the people on my team.
Yeah.
Like, you are just naming the people on my team. He's like, no, I know you're an alliance. She's like, again, my team. And I'm not in a showmance. Yeah. So literally like 30 minutes after he made these noms, he sat Alyssa and Kyland down and goes, how do we get out of this?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Are you the HOH who just made these noms?
Yeah. Now listen, we're exasperated, but I'm also eating this up.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
This makes for delicious feeds. I can't wait to see how this cuts together in the episode. Like this kind of messiness, I'm here for it.
I mean, I didn't even know that you could like put a poster child to the word mess.
Yeah.
But we found him.
Oh my God. And we were talking about like, oh, Frenchie's a super fan. He's on BB Twitter. He's going to know how to do this. And the fact that he has flipped, so like head over heels, flip-flopping, you guys. Like he's doing cartwheels in this house, changing his plan. Like it's wild.
Every conversation. Yeah. It's not even like the beginning of the day was different than the end. It's like every conversation is different. Yeah. No, we assumed he knew like just the basics of the game.
Yeah.
Being, you know, one of us who watches and talks about it.
But as he's trying to fix this, right? Like, oh boy, how did I do Alyssa and Kyland? I got to get my way out of this. Derek X kind of slowly becomes a central name, a central target, because of the way that he's apparently, you know, going around the house, throwing people under the bus. I think specifically Brent is someone that Derek X keeps bringing up. And so he becomes a target.
Well, yeah. So Derek X and Brent are on the same team. And like I said earlier, this is a team sport. So he thought he and Derek X and Whitney and Hannah were all besties in an alliance and they'll go to the end of this game. Mm-hmm. But Derek X, even though he doesn't know this game well, he was building his own alliance. Yeah. And he was pairing up with Kyland, he's pairing up with Travis. And he was saying, like, let's go after Whitney. Let's go after other people. Yeah. He wasn't trying to do anything against Brent. He just wasn't making an alliance with Brent. But in Frenchie's eavesdropping, he sees Derek X talking to Travis and these other people. And so he just, you know, he creates these bigger things. Yeah. And together, because Brent, something about Brent, he's the way he speaks to people is questionable. Okay. But he and Frenchie really bond over, like, you know, wanting to go after people. So together, because DX does become a target here. Yes. Brent, like, pulls it back so the DX is not a target and, like, puts the target back on Travis a little bit. Yeah. But also, we're just going to put this in a nutshell. The target went to Alyssa, to Kyland, to DX, to Travis, to Alyssa, to Kyland, to DX, to like, we just kept going in these circles for the last few days. Yeah.
And you're right. It literally is just like whoever is the most recent person in Frenchie's ear has changed the target. And then someone else comes to the HOH room and has a new conversation and things change again. And I think, like, you know, the house is kind of figuring this out, and everybody slowly is like, well, we can't really trust Frenchie. Like, they're having to form these alliances with him right now because he's the HOH. And, like, that's the benefit of winning, you know, this first week HOH. But it's just funny thinking about how Frenchie's kind of, in some ways, trying to set himself up in the way that Cody set himself up in BB All-Stars. Form a big alliance with 8 people or whatever, and then a smaller alliance within that alliance. Like, he's trying to do that strategy.
Memphis's credit and give it to Cody. Memphis would be so hurt that he didn't get that credit.
Let me publicly apologize to Memphis, for taking the credit.
But Cody the credit.
It's the same strategy.
Plan. Yeah.
But Frenchie is just so much messier about it, which gives me hope that it's not going to work and we might see something different this
because
season.
Honestly, the whole house knows about Slaughterhouse. This is the big one, right? He wanted Slaughterhouse to be like a large alliance and the Butchers is his, like, main core. But he got so sloppy that even people who are not in Slaughterhouse know that Slaughterhouse is a thing. Yeah. And they think, like, am I in it? Like, is this thing formed? Like, it's so, like, we've already said.
Well, literally just like 10 minutes ago, on the feeds, Slaughterhouse finally gets up in the HOH room to make things official. And that's half the house in the HOH room. You have to imagine that people are like, where's everybody?
Oh my God, it was so
Who's
obvious.
Upstairs?
Real quick though, I will just say, if you talk to me offline, I will absolutely tell you all of my tech tips. I tell that absolutely. So I just wanted to, like, really quickly say, of course, I will talk to you about lighting or anything else. But let's get to the really fun stuff. Because Slaughterhouse officially formed. Frenchie was like, production told me I need it for the footage. We have to all get in the same room.
Come upstairs. It's for the footage for you guys.
And at first I was like, you know what? Yes, because this has been so sloppy. We don't know who's in Slaughterhouse because the whole house knows about it. Production probably doesn't know who really is in Slaughterhouse. So they were like, can you make it official so that we know? But then the other part of me was like, I bet they didn't even say it. And Frenchie just wanted.
Frenchie just fancies himself a producer, probably, who's like, they're going to need this shot of all of us in the same room.
It's like, people don't want to talk to me anymore now that I'm not in power. Like, how can I get everyone in the room together? I think it's a little bit of that. Yeah. But let's highlight what is really important.
Yes,
there
please.
Was a voodoo. or a veto comp. There was a VITSEC comp.
Yes.
And Derek X.
Derek X won. Who was the other player other than Derek X who got pulled to play it?
Oh, now you're making me go back into my
deep
notes. My deep notes.
But it was obviously Kyland, Alyssa, Frenchie.
Alyssa said she came in close second.
Derek X.
So, I think it was also Travis, because I remember being like, Travis is also another like risky, could go up.
Yeah.
And so Derek X and Travis both played, but and was it Tiffany? Thank you.
Tiffany and Travis, thank you.
Yeah. So Tiffany probably was like, I'm not winning this. I don't need this.
To. I'm fine.
But Derek X was able to pull it out, and this was great because he could have very easily been the renom.
It's literally like everybody that Frenchie has his eye on. Somehow the BB gods are like, safety.
Right. I do want to talk about this because there were supposedly only 6 chips in the bag, and I didn't sit down to do the numbers, but I assume production didn't put in the people who were safe, like
Christian,
the people on Frenchie's team. I was like, did they just leave them off?
I still feel like they should have the chance.
They should still have the chance.
Use the veto to help their game, But I have always thought that sometimes those veto ceremonies are a little suspect in terms of who gets house guest choice when they really need house guest choice. Like, it has not always felt totally random to me.
No, but a lot of seasons, they've dumped it out and double checked. And every time they've double checked, everyone's name was there. So I don't think it's like horribly rigged.
Yeah. Okay.
But when someone was like, it seemed like there were only 6 chips in there, I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's veto. And so before they even played veto, Derek X, who's very close to Kyland, said, I'll take you off the block. They're friends. They're in an alliance. He will take Kyland off the block. And Brent, who is in charge of how Derek X thinks and any decisions Derek X makes, Brent said, yeah, Frenchie wants you to use it. So that's great. You have to do what Frenchie wants. So do that.
Yeah.
So Derek X thought he was going to take Kyland down for a long time.
With no issues, like we were all good with this, apparently.
But were we going to have no issues with a Frenchie
Not with
agent?
Frenchie. No. Literally, one night, Frenchie, didn't he sit in Derek's bed and talk to Derek X until like 4 a.m. or something?
He was like, so maybe use it on a
list. Yeah. Derek X is probably like, this man needs to get out of my bed.
Yeah, because this was also after hours of circling talks. Like, again, we go in circles. It was like he spent most of Sunday not wanting it used, and he wanted Kyland out. And then when he was like, I don't think this is going to work, maybe I'll get him to use it on Alyssa. And he tried everything.
Yeah.
At one point, they were going to put Hannah up.
Yeah.
And so honestly, today when the veto ceremony happened, I was like, I'm prepared for Frenchie to go off the rails again.
And end up with 2 women on the block. Yeah. Because Hannah, I think, was one where it was like, it seemed like maybe there was consensus around that, right? It just was like someone that was off on the side enough that Frenchie maybe hadn't directly promised safety to, even though Hannah was in the room when he said he wasn't going to send home a woman on week 1. But it just was like that person who's like on the periphery enough that she felt safe. And I was like, is this really where we're going? But then Derek X was kind of pushing back along the way because he was like, I've told Kyland way too many times that I'm going to use it on him to then not use it on him.
We're
like,
past.
This is bad for my game.
Yes. And I'm so glad that he said that because he really has sort of been gaslit by both Frenchie and Brent. And he's just like, I'm not talking game with anyone anymore. I'm just doing whatever these 2 guys tell me because he feels like he's in trouble, which is absolutely absurd. But he, at least in this moment, did hold his ground and say, look, you guys said I could take Kyland off. I told Kyland I was taking him off, so I'm taking him off.
Yeah, right. And you figure it out because then it's on you. But I won the veto, and I've got to do what's best for my game here. I made way too many promises to Kylan to not do this, and so I'm going to do it. And then it sort of just becomes a question of who is this replacement nom going to be? Like, does Frenchie have the guts to put up Travis? Because I think that is still a name that's kind of like circling around.
Yeah.
Or is it going to be Hannah, which nobody wanted, you know?
The whole house thought Travis was being backdoored and thought like that's a big plan. Get out this bro guy who could probably win a lot of competitions. Also, Travis has sort of spilled that he's smart. Like people are catching on that he's smart. Like he's actually a decent target at this point.
He's literally not a meathead. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Exactly. And so the house thinking that, but then like in these side conversations, Frenchie's like aligned with Travis and is like, we're going to make this work. You know, if he does use the veto, like let's try to get him not to use the veto. If he does use it, we'll put someone out. Like, oh my God, they were just in all the circles. So, but anyway, the spoiler is that Derek X did take Kylan off the block and Frenchie did put Travis up. He is on the block next to Alyssa, and I cannot believe we got here.
I know, but it seems right now that Alyssa's going to have the votes to stay, right? Because I mean, I hate to go off of like alliances and as if that's official or going to help anybody because like everything seems to be in flux right now. But Alyssa is in the Slaughterhouse Alliance, which they do have the numbers. I also think you have to consider like if all the women, bond together and vote to keep Alyssa, she'll be fine. Like there are a number of scenarios I can see where Alyssa's 100% safe, but I just don't know.
Right.
How things are going to change before Thursday. But right now, I would say like Travis is probably more likely to go home here because I wouldn't say that Alyssa is positioned great in the house right now, but Travis is someone who is like maybe positioned a little bit worse than her, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, Alyssa's doing okay for herself. She's in little groups. She's officially in the Slaughterhouse. Yeah. So that bodes well for her. But yeah, most people are okay with Travis being evicted. And the people that Travis are aligned with are Kylan, Claire, Tiffany,
Derek X,
and Derek X. So Derek X has to be like, yeah, I'm going to let you go. Yeah. Kylan's like, yeah, I got to let you go. Tiffany is just like playing the best social game. So she's like, sorry, I wasn't really aligned with you. And like Claire, she's like, okay. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be close to unanimous. Yeah. But things have changed so much. So I'm certainly not being like, yeah, he's definitely going.
No. Yeah. I mean, we'll talk to us on Wednesday. Maybe we'll have a different story. But like right now, it seems like Travis is going to go.
Yes. Yes. And speaking of Girls Alliance, we don't have like an all Girls Alliance. And I hate the name Girls Alliance. Let's call them women or ladies. But the ladies who have aligned are Brittany, Tiffany, Azza, and who's the fourth one?
Say them again. Tiffany, Brittany, Azza, and Claire, right?
And Claire. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. So that is a group. They were going to be called the Sirens, but I think they decided on the Jackpots.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So that has happened. We've got the Cookout, which I really hope can make a difference in this game because they're the most level-headed of the house guests. Yeah. Azza, Tiffany, Derek X, Xavier. They've included Hannah and Kylan.
Derek F, right? Not X.
Sorry. Yes. Don't listen to me.
It's the black people in the house. That's what that group is, which I'm here for. Like, that's why they're called the Cookout. Like, I hope that can stay strong and actually mean something. And I think you're right that of the alliances that have formed, I feel like that one has the most potential to be one that they take seriously, you know?
Yes, I hope that they do really take it seriously because a lot of them are flirting with Frenchie of like, of course we're working with you. Sure, absolutely.
They have to say that.
But like, I hope that they don't really truly believe that to the core. Like Frenchie is too messy to be reliable. He's already gone against his word. You cannot trust him. Right. So he is a danger to be aligned with. So I'll be interested to see who's really willing to work with him.
Yeah. This is a good note that the chat is giving us that the jackpot ladies are actually Sarah Beth, Clara, and Tiffany. It's a different alliance.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. So the Sirens is the one with Brittany, and then the Jackpots is they've subbed, so it's only 3.
Sarah Beth is involved in that, which I'm happy to see because I feel like Sarah Beth is also one that I'm not seeing in any alliance conversations. So to see her making some headway with some people is good.
Oh my gosh, you guys, the alliance chart that I saw someone draw up online, it was so messy, and I was like, nope, that's accurate. But like, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But I like that. We don't want one big alliance, right?
I know.
So all of these little trios is great.
It is. Yeah.
We need all of that. Because did we say who officially is in the Slaughterhouse?
Oh, let's go through it. I don't think we
because even I was like, I can't wait to see who actually is in this meeting. So besides Frenchie, it's Derek F., Xavier, Kyland, Brent, Christian, Whitney, and Alyssa.
Yeah.
How random is that?
Kind of a random group, but it's fun to see. Like if you look at one of those alliance charts, you'll see that there are members of the Slaughterhouse and like a bunch of different sub-alliances. And that makes me think that information, hopefully that means information is going to funnel out of the Slaughterhouse to these other alliances, and not that all the information that they're gathering from these smaller alliances funnels back into the Slaughterhouse, because that would just be a repeat of BB23, which would not be exciting to watch.
No, it would not be at all. Thank you for the super chat.
Yay. Thank you. Peace.
Oh, you know what? We try to make sense of it.
We try. It's hard.
By Friday night, which was only 2 days into feeds,
yeah.
I was like, I have to take a break.
I know.
I have to take a mental health day, please. My head hurt. I needed to sleep. I was like,
too much.
I can't just take Frenchie's energy on that extended amount of time. It's a lot. Like the first 24 hours, I'm like, what a mess.
Yeah.
The second, I was like, oh my God.
No, wait. I actually have to understand this. I can't just watch it.
No. I remember when I watched feeds to understand what was happening in the house.
Yeah.
And now I'm just getting more confused by watching the feeds.
Yeah.
But yes, we will try to make sense of it for you guys.
Yes.
Not the committee.
I know.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Do not.
I think that those are the highlights. Was there anything else you wanted to mention, David? I
don't think so. Those are, I think, the important spoilers. And now it's just a matter of like, is it going to be as messy for the next however many days? Because there has been some talk about like, what is Travis's strategy going to be to save himself? How is he going to campaign? I think what's great is that we will see Alyssa and Travis both campaign. I remember hearing on the feeds that Alyssa was saying, I want to do one-on-ones, but I'm going to do it after the veto ceremony because I don't want to look paranoid. Great strategy. Good for her to think that way. Travis, I think, may go the route of keep me as a shield. And I don't think it's a terrible argument.
Right.
People may be swayed by something like that. So we've established the house is kind of realizing he's not as dumb as they might have thought.
Right.
So he may come up with a really good campaign. Who knows?
Yeah. And I think with the team twist, it's probably not that hard to get your team on board with keeping you as like, you guys need me.
Well, especially Travis, like he can sell himself as like some kind of comp beast. Right.
Know? Exactly. So yeah, definitely not saying that Travis is an absolute goner. He's just looks like it at this point. But what's exciting is that people can start really figuring out who they want to be aligned with here and who they want to vote for.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I need to see who is really going to target who at this point. Yeah. Claire, I would love to see win an HOH, but I also don't want her to show her cards too soon. I really do like Claire. But I'm not sure who people are really willing to target. So I'm hoping to hear that over the next couple days to figure that out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, God. The stuff that happened last night was so painful to watch. He's truly, truly toxic. The way he spoke to Kyland and Xavier. Like Xavier was just like trying to be like, "Cool, calm down." And he was like, "Are you threatening me?" And I was like, "Ah!
Yeah.
No more, please.
A mess.
No more. I don't want that." Do you worry that these mismatched thruples will eventually all form one huge supergroup? I don't, because usually if they are mismatched, it's harder to become a big supergroup.
Yeah, true.
So I'm hoping because they like kind of overlap like this and then kind of like overlap like this, they won't. I'm holding out hope. Maybe that's my optimistic side.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good question too. The house guests were actually talking about this, like how the future HOHs will work.
Oh, sure.
When a whole team is given safety.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we know that for sure. Like every week, is the entire team safe?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that we've heard that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We're just assuming that.
Yeah.
Frenchie was hoping he still gets to play for HOH to help his team be safe, but like I can't imagine that you shouldn't be allowed to play.
Yeah.
Like, that's the downside to your team winning HOH. You've got only 3 people who can play the next week.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting to see sort of how things settle in after this week. But it very much depends on who the next HOH is, obviously. But Frenchie, I think, is in danger. Yes, Miranda. Like, it's just been so messy and people know it.
Yeah.
And so I think ultimately he's kind of an easy target for people, you know?
Right. You can throw him up and be like, oh, you told us something and you did something different. Sorry, no, nothing personal. It's just like, that's what you did.
Yeah.
I would really like to see it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if we will yet. Because like Kylan's still pretending to work with him. Would Kylan be willing to do that? I don't know. Alyssa is in Slaughterhouse as well. I mean, they're both in Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
But like, she's not going to put him up and be like, you put me up last week, so I'm going to put you up. She's not going to do that. So it's a little confusing because I do think someone will be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Because he was so messy, but I'm just not sure who's willing to. There's a lot of people not willing to win HOH yet.
Yeah.
Ozza doesn't want it. Xavier doesn't want it.
Yeah. I bet Tiffany doesn't want it yet.
Yeah. Derek F doesn't want it. There's plenty of people who are like, I'm not showing my cards yet. So that's always dangerous when we have that.
Right.
Woo, you guys, but we are here
fun.
for the mess. I love it when people play hard, even when it's awful gameplay. I love it. So, and I also love this house.
I know. I would say I like
these houses.
I don't want to, I need to like knock wood. I don't want to jinx anything, but it just feels like a good cast so far. Even though there's like messiness and like chaos, people are thinking about things critically. They're having strategic conversations, and I'm enjoying that so far. It's got promise.
Yeah, really. There's only 2 people that I'm not loving them, and so I'm fine if they go. But the rest of the house, I might be sad when they go.
Let's hear some names.
Oh, it's Frenchie and Brent. And Brent's on my draft team, so I was really wanting him to stay, but he's extremely condescending, and I can only listen to him so long.
Sure. Okay.
So that's just unfortunate about that.
Yeah. No, I think I would agree with you that like outside of that, I have no issues with anybody so far. I'm sure I will develop issues.
You will.
Don't worry.
You will.
But everybody's pretty decent so far.
Yeah. We're going to have a hard time when people start actually being evicted because we really do like a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Okay. So schedule, you guys. On Mondays and Thursdays, David and I are here together recapping and talking about all the shenanigans. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays, I'll be here solo doing live feed updates.
Yep.
And on Wednesdays, I'll be recapping the episode with guests that I have coming on. So I'm very excited about this season.
Yeah.
I hope you're all subscribed, getting the notifications so that you will join. Please don't forget to like this video.
Please, it really helps.
It does. It helps the channel.
Yes.
We appreciate it. And all of you guys who are here live in the chat with us, you guys make this fun. We love your input.
We do. And if you're joining us later, we love it when you leave comments because that helps the channel. And it is fun to just interact with you guys, hear your thoughts about this messy first week. If you've been, watching the feeds, I'm very interested to see how they cut this together on Wednesday. I do not envy those producers who have to make sense of this, but leave us your thoughts on what's happened so far in the comments so we can interact with you guys even more there.
Yes, absolutely. And we will see you next time, guys.
All right, bye.